going to begin by sharing with you a little bit about the colors that I use. And we're outdoors, so things may jump around a little bit, but I think that is the joy of painting outdoors. I will be sending or making available to you my materials list. And every painter has favorite shades, colors that they recommend and cannot do without. And I'm going to share the ones that I recommend. Most artists do recommend a cool and a warm shade of many colors. And that's what we've got here in our yellows. The Hansa yellow is a lovely lemony yellow color. You can use a lemon yellow, a Hansa yellow, sometimes a cadmium pale, but it's a little more orange. This is more lemony. I like the cadmium yellow deep. It provides a nice deep bright orange. Now, cadmium orange, let me tell you, this is a color I cannot talk enough about because you will never be able to mix a bright orange paint from a red and a yellow. People try. It's like mixing ketchup and mustard. So if you want a beautiful orange, you're going to need that shade. It's also great for dulling down a green and giving you more of a realistic olive green that we find out here in the desert. Reds, if I had to choose one red, it would be my cadmium red, light or pale. It's a lighter shade, more of a watermelon shade, but a beautiful shade of red. Your traditional cadmium red, of course, is more of your fire engine red, and Purell red will work nicely. Again, I like the golden or the Liquitex paint. They both work very nicely. This is a shade I cannot do without. Your Quinacridone Magenta. It will give you beautiful lavenders, beautiful pinks, hot pinks. It is very versatile, but I find it a necessary shade. Now, it's a modern, modern created color, whereas your alizarin crimson is your traditional shade for creating your beautiful lavenders, but it's not as color fast and it's more transparent. So just know that about that shade, and you'll learn a little bit as you go on. Blues, most artists do like a ultramarine blue. It will give you more of a lavender shade. In the time of COVID, I've got paint brands here that I'm not even sure where I got this one, but here's a French ultramarine blue. You need to have that. Your cobalt blue has a little bit of white mixed into it. It's more toward the turquoise shade, but it's a pretty true blue. When you think of the Impressionists and their beautiful blues that they get, Matisse, you will think of a cobalt blue. Cerulean blue is a shade that you can see I have several large tubes of. And I love it for mixing sky colors. You need a cerulean blue. It'll give you that beautiful turquoise. Also, the phthalo blues, which come in a blue or a green shade, will give you a strong, vivid blue. And they're hard to paint without. I always have that on my palette. Phthalo green. That or a Viridian will work. This again comes in a blue or a yellow, blue or a green shade, but it will help you mix everything from a beautiful lemon, limey green color to your deeper greens. The last color I have on my palette, which is usually a yellow ochre, and lately they've been sending me a yellow oxide instead. I find it to be the one earth tone that I use. You will notice I do not have the other earth tones on my palette. I don't have a black or some of the other siennas. I'm not saying that I never use a black. I have it. Burnt sienna will give you a beautiful earthy red, but I like to mix my brown shades. Burnt umber is also a cool version of a brown, which is quite lovely with blue. And if I'm confusing you, don't worry. You just need to buy a few shades and start with those. You will need, of course, a good white, and lots of it. Many people swear by their titanium buff shade. I find it a little bit deadening, so I'm just going to say that up front. I sometimes have it available.